the feeling of heartbreak, now I understand why there's so many successful songs about it. Now I understand why, it can really throw you over the edge. And I think that it's something that it's important for everybody to feel it at one point in your life.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Made It Out. Before we get started, we are officially retiring our Pride merch and announcing new merch with our tagline for the girls on the front and on the back. It says Made It Out. It's a cute little tank top. And we also have hats that say the same thing. So head on over to our website and check it out today. And I'm here with singer, songwriter, actor Taylor Parx to talk about breaking off her engagement and breakups in general. Okay. When did you come to realize your queerness? Have you always dated men and women?
I don't know. I guess when did I realize it? I've always been kind of like, okay, whatever I'm into. I think that when you start to think about that, a lot of my early life wasn't really based on, I wasn't having time to date people, and I didn't go to regular high school, and I didn't, so there was a lot of those teenage experiences of figuring those other things out that I really missed out on because I was working. At that time I was doing Nickelodeon and Hairspray, all these different things, and I just felt like my focus was on that. My family picked up their entire life from Texas to LA for me, and that puts a different kind of focus in you as a child. And so unfortunately in the beginning I really didn't have time to grow those personal relationships outside of little things here and there, you know, like any normal kid, I guess.
Did you always see yourself getting married, settling down? What did your life look like to you?
No, I actually saw myself as a single mom. I don't know why in my mind that's always been the thing. I just didn't see myself as being in a long-term partnership. I don't know what it is. I knew I wanted to be a mom, and I knew very early on, I'm like, whether I had a partner or whether or not I did, I would have a child, you know, and that's just what it was. So if somebody came on along and they're a part of that vision, that's great. Now we can do it together, but I never was, it was never dependent on partnership.
I also think it's when you're queer, your mind is just kind of open to different things because you're like, okay, there's going to be some level of science involved in getting pregnant, so it's it's kind of I had the same view of okay, I know I want to be a mom, but I got to a point where I was like, if nobody's there, it's okay. I could do this by myself. Yeah, there's options. So I get that kind of, but did you believe in marriage? Did you buy into it?
No, absolutely not. I think I might believe in divorce more than I believe in marriage. It's giving congratulations, let's throw a party. I believe in that. I think that it's something that for me, it's really, really, really valuable to say, hey, I could leave right now if I wanted to. I could be gone, but I choose to stay. And it's not something like the fact that divorce is so expensive that's keeping me. It's not the fact that it takes so much work to get a divorce that's keeping me in this. It actually says way more to me that you can leave anytime you want to. And, 10, 20, 30, 40 years after being I could easily leave and that person is still there, that's really, really special. However, the other side is it's accepting what people's values are. If what that means to me is the same thing as putting your name on a certificate means to you, okay, that is your idea of it being shown. And that's why I was always open to it, depending on the partner. As long as we're on the same page about what partnership looks like. And if you want to throw a party, great. We can throw a party every year,
Well, because, yes, you were engaged.
Yeah.
So can you tell me about that relationship? How did you meet her?
Yeah, I met her on tour, actually. I was opening up for Lizzo and, kind of promoting that previous project. And yeah, she works with Lizzo, and I was like, I like you. Boom, boom, boom. Looks like you like me too. And then from there on, we literally just connected in a really, really special way, and that was a really formative like relationship for me.
Yeah. I'm sure too, like on a tour like that, that's such a bonding experience and so like special, and you share something with that person that the rest of the world probably will never, or most of the rest of the world won't ever understand.
Yeah,
So
Tour
that's
Bay
pretty
is
cool too.
real. Tour Bay is
That's a
real.
thing?
It's absolutely a thing. And I think the other thing is like, a lot of the times you think that it won't become a thing after, a lot of the times it's just like, oh, this is just that. But I think that another part of what went into it becoming something more than just Tour Bay was the amount of like respect. I'm like, oh, she's not playing that. Whereas most, like some of the girls that I've talked to in the past, it's just like, oh, I could just do kind of whatever. I'm gonna like, but when the girl's like, you're not just doing whatever, and this is how I do. I'm like, okay, well, tell me what we doing then. All of a sudden it gives you a little razzle dazzle with it. I'm like, okay, I see you. I'll play along. Let's see.
Yeah, because it's not like the cool girl. It's not just, we are laying down laws.
Yes. I'm like, and then sometimes, it'll start off like, yeah, I'm the cool girl. I'm chill. I'm very chill. And then it's like, are you as chill? You can just be honest with me right now.
And then it usually is like, no, they're not fucking chill at all.
Because I'm always going to push it. I'm like, let me see how far I can take this. I just need to know what my boundaries are.
You're toxic.
Oh, my God. Is that toxic? Damn.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's okay because I'm the one that's saying,
Okay. This is why this is a good interview, because you're like, now let's rein it in. I just want to know what's on the other side. Like,
how long did you guys date before you were engaged?
2 years.
2 years. Okay.
2 years. I knew that it was something that was important for her. And I knew that it was, and knowing that she knew that I was like committed, making sure that she would knew that I was committed was important to me. I'm like getting so shy right now. But so yeah, 2 years into that, and that was the whole thing. And we were in Sonoma. We drove down there, and I like did terrible at the proposal.
Oh,
like,
no.
I was just
okay, well,
like,
I got to hear the story now.
I just was like, I just feel like it was terrible to me, because I'm just like, it's like, yeah, will you marry me? Like, and like we laughed about it, and it still was all like good. It was really, really beautiful.
Was it at like a restaurant? How did you
So
do
there's
it?
like this cabin, and I guess it's a good thing that I'm not married now, because not remembering where this place is would really get me in trouble. Yes. It would really get me in trouble, and it might still get me in trouble. Like now, if she hears this, I swear it was a very important day. But we were at like this cabin, these cabins in Sonoma, and like pretty much everything else, I think the trauma of it all after, it's just slowly started erasing, other than the things that are in the songs. Like, I'm just like, I can't remember, specifics.
Yeah, you've trauma blocked.
Yeah, I think I have. I'm gonna have to look that up after. I might have to ask her. I never expected to be like engaged and all those other things. So looking back on it now, and even my friends like at the time, they were like, wow. So Taylor Parx is engaged. Never thought we'd see the day.
Wow. So you guys were now you're on cloud 9. You're engaged.
Yeah, we're
Loving
engaged.
living life.
Life is, wonderful. She's trying to get me to focus on actually planning the wedding now that we've done these other things. And, I think that there was so many ways that I had to learn. Like, there's a lot of moments where I was very selfish in that situation, just because it was just like, I was just like, okay, I can't. But I do want to do this. But also, like, I have a million other things happening all at once. And, those were things that I had to learn to take accountability for.
Yeah.
And then also, we were in the house coming from being 2 touring artists to being like, we are locked down. And that was, the beginning of like, well, we gonna see about it.
Yeah, revealing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fact. You just start fighting over things that are just, you're not really, really mad about that situation that you're
Right.
fighting about a lot of the times.
Yes.
You know? And so to have so many of those things just kind of boiling up in so many frustrations, like, you know, I just feel like when I'm the type of partner that's like, okay, if I chose you, I chose you. We ain't going nowhere. Too bad. Like,
Yes, I'm like that too.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, be mad in the other room and come on back. You know what I'm saying? I'm very much so that. And so I think that it was really good, though, in this case to be like, but let's really talk about, like, outside of the deciding, because love is a choice, like, to make it work no matter what. There's certain values that have to be, especially if you're going to be bringing children into this world, that you guys do need to see similarly. So, you know, we get into a fight, and that fight ends up, and like I would do super immature stuff like, well, we're calling it off. Like just so immature. But this time she was like, okay,
Oh no.
cool. And I was like, what?
Oh no, she called you on your bluff.
She called me on my bluff. I was like, oh no. Like, and you know, that's one of those things to where I ended up just being like, whoa, okay, like after we got into this argument that I didn't expect to be like the end of the, like, and I thought even like days after, like she's gonna like forgive me like for the things that I said and you know all those other things. And that's something that we realized after was like, actually this album is gonna be crazy. like it ended up being like, oh hell no. Like I remember years ago being like, I just want to get my heart broken. I just kind of want to see like what's going on. Like what is it that makes it? It's physically like I want to know what that is and what that feeling is, because it means that you've opened up to somebody to allow that to happen, and that's really powerful. Yeah. And so I will say that I've been able to experience that with somebody and to know like that shit hurts. It's literally like leaves you stunned. But I think that there's like, yeah, just really something powerful about like, oh, we've been broken down. Nah. And now we gotta, you know, do yourself like a Build-A-Bear and get it back together. But I think that it's something that you don't, I've never quite felt something like that. Like there's disappointment of maybe a song didn't make it out that you thought it was like there's all those different things. But the feeling of heartbreak, now I understand why there's so many successful songs about it. Mm-hmm. Now I understand why, you know, it can really throw you over the edge. And I think that it's something that it's important for everybody to feel it at one point in your life.
Yeah. And there's so much strength in being able to say like, yeah, I built myself back up without that person. And
yes, we had to re-get Taylor made because I was like, no. Like you start looking at me like, this isn't me.
Wow. Yes, I agree. What do you think were the most challenging aspects of breaking off the engagement? That seems like an obvious question, but
I mean, yeah, the most challenging aspect is literally having to get in a new groove without this person. I think that those are the things that you used to do together, or the things that you, when you have some good news or bad news or whatever, like those are the hardest parts. I think for me it's like even like the smallest things, like taking the Bluetooth, like taking their name off of your car on the Bluetooth or their seat setting, something like that. Like it's
that
like
hurts.
You know, it's like, oof, I guess I gotta go my own way. Like it ends up like, you know, turning into that thing, and that is something that's like, oh, like very tough, you know. So I would say that that's the hardest, being like, no, this is for real happening, because I'm good for being like, oh, back with my ex again. Like, but this time it was like, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
They're like really final moments.
It was the final moment. And I didn't know it at the time, but it was the final boss of the moments.
The Bluetooth.
It was like, dang, you just hit a little doo-doo.
Oh yeah, not the noise. How did you cope with the aftermath of this like really big breakup?
A lot of crying, a lot of denial, a lot of then acceptance, a lot of like just like you're mourning anything.
Yeah.
A lot of going to friends and families for validation, a lot of being like, "You sure about this? Okay, bye." A
So
lot
it wasn't like a clean break.
Yeah, it literally was just like, okay. And it wasn't like, this is the last time I'll ever talk to you again.
Yeah.
It was like, man, this really sucks. Yeah, I know. Like that type of thing of just being able to still be there for each other, but try to find the healthy balance.
And what the fuck is that balance?
Okay. What is
You
the
didn't
balance?
find it?
What? Yes. I have found the balance enough to move on into some different situations. But that's something I think that it's like, and one thing is like, okay, this is the ex-fiance. This isn't just some random ex that you dated in high school or whatever. This is somebody that you actually saw your, life with. And in one case, and on one hand, it's like, so it should really be a no-go. And then the other hand is like, well, also that's the homie.
Right.
Figuring out what does my relationship with you look like now? And I think that is, still evolving, and I think that it's good though, because it's evolving towards something at least positive.
Yeah.
And it has been positive, for the most part.
What is the practical ways you got through the breakup? Like, was there any rituals that you had, or like, I don't know, we were just talking about this, me and Matilde, both of us, when we went through our last breakups, had like journals of like, here's all the bad things about this person. So then when you have a weak moment, it's like, nope, remember when they did that?
Yes. I mean, I definitely had notes. And I had a things you do that piss me off note in my relationship. Because I'm just like, it's just like sometimes you just got to get it off your chest. Yep. And it's just like, these are the things you do that piss me off. But I do think that like I went Peloton crazy for a little bit.
Tune Day.
Yeah.
Yes. Tune Day got me through some shit too.
Absolutely. I was doing a lot of swimming.
Oh wow.
I like really got into it. I was like, I think I might have to get me a little swimming coach so I can be like, no, what's the moves though? Like I gotta take it to the extra every single time. But I'm just like, I want to learn how I can get it. So I got into that. I was doing a lot of building, like some electrician shit. Like I literally like built power banks and battery banks for my like Airstream studio. Like I was just like throwing myself down rabbit holes.
When women go through breakups,
look, the things we learn,
the things that we achieve.
I turned into literally a dad, like I turned into and was just hyper focused on a lot of different things. But then also, reading different books to just kind of be like, okay, I just need to make sure I'm understanding my emotions correctly. And then you slip up and then you revert back to old ways. And then you're like, oh, okay. We're out of the gutter, back on the wagon, you know?
I totally know. I mean, that's in a relationship too. That's just life.
Exactly.
That's like, fuck, I did this again. Yes. How has this experience impacted your view on relationships and marriage?
I would say that the relationship has affected me in the way of like, I could actually see me being with somebody like in a long-term partnership. That's new. And it just taught me a lot. It taught me a lot in those ways that I talked about before. Like I think being in a relationship is very different in the way that you are forced to kind of put this like a mirror up, ways that you don't have to think about when you live alone or when you're just like, it's just like me and my dogs.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to think about when somebody isn't around you 24/7.
100%.
Almost. And that was something that was really, really important for just like my personal growth. And I think that as far as marriage, it opened me up to different ideas. I still feel the same way that I feel about it, but I only feel like, okay, I wouldn't say I'm absolutely not getting married, only because of that like relationship because it meant a lot to that person, and the fact that I was willing to do that because it meant so much to this person. But as long as they understood how I feel about it.
Sure.
I want you to know that this is why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Not because I feel like there's some weird shit happening.
Yeah.
Like, or whatever the fuck it was originally for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to know.
Yes.
That I'm not for what it used to stand for.
Yes.
But that I love you. And that is a very, that's a thing that wouldn't exist if it wasn't for that relationship.
Yeah.
That understanding or acceptance of that even idea.
Yeah, I love that. And I love what you said about being like in a relationship, how it holds up the mirror, because I feel like I was single for like a year and a half and I was like, I'm good. I have life figured out. I need no help. I've done. And then you get into a relationship and I was like, oh, I have so many fucking problems. I had nothing figured out. I just had no trigger.
Exactly. Once those triggers are gone, you never know what's going on.
Yes.
Because there's literally nothing to be like, to hold it up against.
Yes. So what do you think the biggest thing is that you learned about yourself? Or what's the most important lesson that you've learned about yourself from this experience?
Probably just the same thing that I already knew previously, that didn't affect anybody else until you're in a relationship with them. And that's that I prioritize so much on just like my work and all those other things. And really it is like myself, prioritizing that and having to get unused to that, like besides my dogs, like I never really had something else to really, and my family, of course, but that's a given.
Yeah.
Like I really didn't have somebody else that actually cares if you're going to be in the studio until 5 a.m. and you don't even tell them.
Yeah.
That actually cares if you're running late to A, B, or C, or you need to remember birthdays. You need to, like, these are things that I think are obvious, right, to probably a lot of listeners who are constantly in relationships or like understand that, but it's something that I knew that I just didn't have the space for previously. And I think that this reminded me not to hop into those things unless you do feel like you can make the space for it.
Right. So it's you literally have to practically change your life when you get into the relationship and change your schedule and
respect that partnership enough to make those necessary changes for it to be healthy and sustainable.
Yeah. I mean, what a beautiful lesson, because I'm sure it's completely changed the course of
the
relationship you're in now.
Exactly. And I'm not saying that all of a sudden it's like, hello, I'm I'm doing all that because I be fucking up sometimes.
Yep.
But I'm like, okay, boom, let me just let you know, these are the things that I be messing up sometimes. I'm working on it, but I might not get it right all the time. And I just need to let you know that these are the things, The
awareness.
Exactly. Yeah. Just the opportunity to be aware.
I love it. I want to know where you're at now with the ex-fiance. And also I know you're in a new relationship.
Yes. Me and my ex-fiance are homies. Like we're chilling and we're all good.
How long do you think it took to get there?
I mean, it definitely took like a year, like just to figure it out. Like, and then you get into a relationship and you have to think again in ways that you didn't have to think of when you were single,
right? And
holding a relationship with your ex, and so there's certain boundaries that just have healthy boundaries that have to be there, that reassure my current partner, who knows all of these things, that I'm kind of talking about now about me. So they know that in order for this person to get me to even think about marriage, it must have been quite serious.
Yeah.
And that's, that's something that I'm like, okay, we find that balance. And we make sure that we're not making the same mistakes that we made previously. We might make some new mistakes, but at least it won't be the same ones.
Yeah. And what advice do you have for someone who's maybe at the point where they're thinking about calling off an engagement?
Get up out of there. Get up out of there. It's going to be way cheaper, and you're just going to save the time and save the energy, and you could walk away now before things get too crazy. And I'm a firm believer in doing what's best for you. Because if you're in an unhappy situation, regardless, everybody who's in that situation is going to be unhappy.
Yeah. It's kind of a hot take, but I always do kind of feel that way of like, if you are thinking about, if you've gotten to the point where you're like really contemplating, like, is this right? Then it probably isn't. Like, there's some healthy doubting.
Exactly.
But
exactly. It's not giving like, whoa, we're just gonna make this commitment that we're gonna have to do all this work to get through, through if it's not the right thing, it's a big thing to think about.
Yeah.
But have the healthy doubt. And if it's tipping a little bit more into the I'm afraid of this, then that's something that, you need to actually have those conversations with your partner about.
Yeah.
And you should feel comfortable having those conversations with your partner. I mean, it might hurt to be like, oh, you're doubting me? You're doubting this? But then let's figure out how I can not.
Yeah, let's have it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being so open to sharing.
Yes.
I think this is going to help a lot of people.
Come on. I hope that my oversharing can help somebody.
I have one more ask of you.
Okay.
As far as oversharing goes.
Boom, boom.
What are you working on in therapy?
Ooh, I'm working in therapy on continuing to find my work-life balance.
Okay.
I'm definitely working on that just because it's just like a matter of being like, all right, like I talked to my therapist. I'm like, girl, this is what we've been up to. Boom, boom, and my therapist is queer also, and like they just get me. So I think that's the biggest thing that I've been like working on. The other thing, I think it's just remembering the tools that I've done for the coping mechanisms that I've chose over the past few years, remembering those things and not reverting like, oh, back to 21-year-old TP, because it's easier.
Yes, yes.
For sure. So
what does it look like practically, like in your life when you've got so much work and you also have a relationship? Like, do you have like an organization system? Do you have like, how do you measure the kind of like, is this important enough to miss out on something at home? Like, what does that look like?
I think that I've been finding actually really good one. Like a lot of the times, and I think just living in Tennessee now, I'm a few hours ahead of LA, which is where a lot of the things I'm, right at the same time as New York. I'm able to get a lot of the work done. I'm an early riser, so I really needed to understand what does that look like for me. Unless I'm like am just real chill and like having something, I'm not responding to emails at 10 p.m. I'm probably chilling or just like made sure that all of the chickens was in the coop and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
you are literally on a farm.
I'm really farming.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
you're really farming.
I got sweet potatoes. I got peppers, all kind of stuff. Like I'm really farming.
Can we come visit your farm?
Please.
Oh my gosh, let's go to the farm.
We've been out there. I've been over here, getting wood from the Amish. I've really been doing some things, like building some communities. Like, it's been crazy.
I love this. Okay.
Yes. Come on down now.
I'm going to come on down.
Yes.
So we play a game.
Okay.
It's called You Haul or You Ghost.
Ooh, okay.
No in between.
Okay. Oh my God.
And she's perfect in every way, but just maybe this like one thing.
Ooh, okay.
She keeps half-eaten snacks in her purse. Like she'll pull out a granola bar and be like, oh yeah, I was from a hike a couple days ago, and just like eat it.
I think it's giving you a ghost, because I'm like, I know your purse is all crummy now, and now I just can't even get it out of my mind, and I'm a very like OCD person when it comes to that, so I'm just like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's giving ghost.
I gotta be honest, this one doesn't bother me. I actually might be this person.
Oh no, is your purse crummy?
Probably, yeah.
Oh my God. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm a crummy person.
I'll accept it because I think that you're also cool, and maybe it's a personality thing. So I don't know.
Thank you for accepting me.
Yeah.
Okay, what about she loves to randomly challenge people to an arm wrestle?
You know what? Maybe U-Haul. Like, I don't know. Something about it is given like, oh, okay, this is your little quirky thing. Like, I don't know. Like, you're very confident, first of all, just to even be like, you know what? Lay it on me right here. But you know what? Maybe I'm still down. Like, I don't know if I will ghost you. But yeah, definitely maybe U-Haul.
I think if you're winning, I'm you ghosting. If you're losing, I kind of find that endearing. And I might you.
See, that is the thing. It's like, you know what? Okay, if that is, you're just doing it just because, like, oh, this is a thing that I do. Yeah. You know, like, all of a sudden it's like, okay, do you.
Okay, I like that. What about she takes you on a first date to karaoke, but like she just wants to perform the entire time? It's like,
no, I'm ghosting. I'm ghosting because, you know what? Actually, I was just doing karaoke 2 days ago at my parents' house and everything. And you're always like, I don't usually do karaoke like out in public because it's just like, you gotta, like, nobody wants to hear people like really trying to sing at karaoke. You gotta do it, or unless it's like, you know, you're in Nashville and you're with a bunch of singers and then it's like, okay, we can all sing together. But no. No, it's different. There's a time and a place where you either relax with the karaoke and you just got to have you a few drinks, whatever is needed. But you can't be doing too much. That's giving ghost.
That is the right take on karaoke. All right. What about you show up to her apartment and it's covered in plants? Like, it's like you're outside.
U-Haul.
U-Haul.
I don't even need to hear the rest of that. Like, I love plants. And I'm like, ooh, finally somebody that can help me water them. Like, you're into plants, I'm into plants. I don't have to explain to you what's going on. If they're alive, we're good. If they're dead, you already know.
Yeah.
Ghost.
We're ghosting.
But if they're alive and well, thriving, you're my person. You're like my person right there.
It is a good sign.
It's a good sign. You can take care of shit.
Yes. Plants talk to you. They let you know what they need.
Yep.
They're like having animals. So I agree with you. This is good. If they're whacking me in the face, I'm a little like, okay, we can.
Yeah, because they're just like blowing in the wind, you know, doing their thing, thriving, you know.
All right, if you got a lot of plants, then. Can you tell us what you're promoting?
Right now I'm promoting my new album, Many Moons, Many Suns, and it's literally top to bottom about this situation and all of the ways that I tried to cope in between and just lands, you know, in kind of a description of where I'm at now. All of my albums are, you know, kind of biographical, so it's something that I'm really, really proud to share. And it's just about as vulnerable as this interview. You're finding out just as much tea. And then also right now I am getting ready for that tour for that. I'm super excited to be back connecting with the Taylor Tots. We're going to be hitting Chicago, LA, New York, London, a lot of different places. So I'm very excited. This fall we are going to be singing together.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go to the Nashville show so that we can come to the farm.
Look, yes. Look, you gotta see the dragonflies. You gotta see the everything. Come on now.
All right, it's a date.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being in here and for sharing. We do a cheers at the end.
Okay, come on.
What do you want to cheers to?
I feel like we can cheers to, man, many suns after your many moons.
Beautiful.
Boom, boom.
Thank you guys for listening to another week of Made It Out. Please don't forget to let us know what you thought in the comments and follow our guest at Taylor Parx. Follow the show at Made It Out Podcast. Follow me at Mal Glowinky. This episode was produced by Matilda Jordan and worked on solely by lesbians.
Babe, my phone is dead. Did you bring a phone charger? Your phone can be dead. Boom, boom.
Yeah. That was inspired by real life.
Come on. Come on.